Good morning, children.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, children.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Let's recall the terms. So a curve is a figure traced out on, excuse me. A curve is a figure traced out on a plane surface with the help of a sharp pencil without lifting. Without lifting. Open curve, start point is not equal to the end point. Closed curve, start point is equal to the end point. Simple closed curve, a curve which is closed, that is a curve in which the start point is equal to the end point and which does not cross over itself. The figure does not intersect itself at any point, is a simple closed curve. Are we sure about these terms?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now somebody tell me what is a polygon?
Ma'am, polygon is a simple closed curve made up of only line segments, ma'am.
Only line segments. Perfect. A polygon is a simple closed curve. A simple closed curve made up of only line segments is called a polygon. This is what we have discussed in the last class. Now, look at these terms, interior and exterior of a closed curve. Interior and exterior of a closed curve. Now, as you can see, this is a closed curve drawn on a plane surface. We can see a closed curve. It's a closed curve because you can go like this. No, suppose you start here like this, like this. You can keep doing this, like this.
Ma'am, your screen, ma'am,
Yes?
the slide is not visible, ma'am. It's
Children, what about the others? I've shared my screen. Is it visible or not?
No, ma'am. It's
Ma'am,
two slides are like kind of mixed up.
yeah, ma'am.
No, ma'am. It is.
The slide had hanged, ma'am.
Okay, let me just wait. If at least one of you are able to see it clearly, I can.
I can see it clearly, ma'am.
Raja.
I can also see clearly, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Let me wait for some time. All right. See if at least one of you also can see. That means it should be good from my end. I'll just wait for some time. Is it fine now?
No, ma'am. Ma'am, can I try leaving the meeting and joining again?
Yes, yes. Do that. Do that.
Ma'am, I got it. I got it now, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am, I also got it.
All right. That's good. That's good. All right. So here in this figure, you can see a closed curve. Now we understand why this is a closed curve. On a plane surface, you can see a closed curve. Because in order to trace this figure, supposing you start here, you go like this, you go like this and you can come back to the starting point. You can come back, you finish at the starting point. So this is a closed curve. This shaded area, the area which is shaded inside the curve is called the interior of a closed curve. You can see the bluish region, which is shaded inside the curve. This is called the interior of a closed curve. This bluish or whatever kind of bluish grayish region, blue grayish region, which is shaded inside the closed curve is called the interior of the curve, inside the closed curve, interior of the curve. Now on the plane surface, so say this is the piece of paper on which you've drawn. This is a piece of paper on which you've drawn. The region lying outside the closed curve is called the exterior of the closed curve. Now see, some region outside it is shaded. This region outside the closed curve is called the exterior of the closed curve. Interior of the closed curve, exterior, outside, exterior of the closed curve. Yeah. Now, these are some curves that are polygons, while these are some curves that are not polygons. Let's understand why. Now, this one is a quadrilateral with 4 sides. See it, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a quadrilateral. I shouldn't say quadrilateral with 4 sides, sorry. This is a polygon with 4 sides. This is a polygon with 4 sides. This is the polygon with 4 sides. See it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Why do we call it a polygon? Why do we call it a polygon? Because it's a closed curve. It's a simple closed curve made up of line segments. So this curve is a polygon. This curve is a polygon. This is a curve. This is a curve. This is a closed curve. It's a simple closed curve. And it's made up of only line segments. So this curve is a polygon. Let me just allow you to think, children. So these are curves. These 3 figures which you see here are curves. Because you can draw them. You can draw these figures without lifting your hand, using a pencil without lifting your hand, or without lifting the tip of the pencil. So these are curves, and these curves are polygons. And these curves are polygons. Because they are simple closed curves and they're made up of only line segments. Well, when you look at these, all these are curves. These are curves because see, like we can, suppose you start here, you go like this, you go like this, and then you finish it like this. But it is a curve. It's an open curve. It's a curve. So you can draw this. You can draw this with a pencil without lifting the tip of the pencil from the paper. You can draw. But you observe that the start point is not equal to the end point. The start point is different from the end point. So it's an open curve. It is a curve and it's an open curve. Where curve and an open curve, we don't have any further discussion. It's a curve and it's an open curve. If it's an open curve, we have no further discussion. It's an open curve. When it's a curve and a closed curve, then we further proceed. Is it a simple closed curve? Further, is it a polygon? Curve, simple curve. Sorry, curve, open curve. We stop there. When it's a curve and it's an open curve, we stop there. When it's a curve and it's a closed curve, then we move on. Is it a simple closed curve? And if it is a simple closed curve, is it made up of only line segments? And if it's a polygon. Just give me a minute, children. So children, so this one is a curve. This is a curve. It is an open curve because the start point is not equal to the end point. This one is a curve. You can draw this without lifting the pencil from the paper. It's a curve. Is it a closed curve? See now, supposing I start like this, children. I start like this. See, supposing I start like this, I go like this. I go like this. I come like this, and I finish here. This is one of the ways of doing it. See, I start here. See, I run my pencil like this, and then like this, and like this, then like this, and finish it here. So we see that this curve can be drawn without, this curve can be drawn, you can draw this figure without lifting the pencil from the paper. You can draw this figure without lifting the pencil. So it is a curve. You can draw it without lifting the pencil. So it is a curve because see, we started here and we went like this, like this, like this, and we finished at the same point. It's a curve because it can be drawn without lifting the pencil. It's a closed curve because the start point is equal to the end point. But it is not a simple curve because it intersects itself. It goes over itself here. It intersects itself. So it's not a simple closed curve. It's not a simple closed curve because it intersects itself. This one is a curve. It's an open curve. This one is a curve. It's a closed curve, but not a simple closed curve because it crosses over itself here. This one is a curve because this can be traced without lifting the pencil. Okay, but we notice that the start point is different from the end point. So it is an open curve. When it's an open curve, no further discussion. Leave it there. Curve, open curve, nothing ahead. If it's a curve and a closed curve, then further simple closed curve, further polygon. So what is a diagonal? A diagonal is a line segment connecting two non-consecutive vertices of a polygon. A diagonal is a line segment. A diagonal is a... Children, am I audible? My screen is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
All right, children. Fine. Thank you. So a diagonal is a line segment. What is a diagonal of a polygon? A diagonal is a line segment connecting two non-consecutive vertices of a polygon. So let's understand the meaning of this phrase, non-consecutive vertices. Non-consecutive vertices. Okay, let's take up this rectangle PQRS. This is a quadrilateral. This is a quadrilateral. This is a polygon. PQS is a polygon. PQRS is a polygon. And PQRS is a quadrilateral. Further, PQRS is a rectangle. Now, these points P, Q, R, and S are called the vertices, or each one is called the vertex. P is a vertex, Q is a vertex, R is a vertex, S is a vertex. P, Q, the points P, Q, R, and S are the vertices, plural of vertex. Vertex, vertices. Vertex, vertices. So plural for vertex. PQRS are the vertices of the rectangle PQRS. The corners are called the vertices. Now, when you take a P and Q, they are the consecutive vertices. They come one after the other. Or when you take P and S, you can say after P is S, or you can say after P is Q. So P and Q are consecutive vertices. P and S are consecutive vertices. S and R are consecutive vertices. R and Q, consecutive vertices. So like this, P and Q, vertex P and vertex Q are consecutive vertices. Vertex Q and R, consecutive. Vertex R and vertex S, consecutive. One after the other. They come one after the other. Vertex S and vertex P, consecutive. They come one after the other. So non-consecutive is the opposite of that. They should not be consecutive. They should not be consecutive. So P, then ignore Q, take R. So when P and Q are consecutive, but P and R are not consecutive. So they are non-consecutive vertices. So when you join any two non-consecutive vertices, you get the diagonal of the figure. Or in this case, PR is a diagonal of the rectangle PQRS. A diagonal is a line segment. Yes, it is a line segment. It has a definite length. It's a line segment connecting two non-consecutive vertices of a polygon. So when you connect the consecutive vertices, what is it called, children? In a polygon, what is the line segment that connects the consecutive vertices? The line segment that connects the consecutive vertices.
Diagonal.
Diagonal.
Children, I'm asking you, what do you call the line segment that connects?
PR.
Adjacent sides.
That connects the. My question is, what do you call the line segment that connects two consecutive sides? Sorry, consecutive vertices of a polygon.
Line segment. Line segment.
No, I got no. There was somebody who said sides, adjacent sides. Who was that?
Danya, ma'am.
Danya. Okay, yeah. So it's a side. So let's understand that. So it's a side. So see, when you connect P and Q, we understand that P and Q are adjacent, that are consecutive. P and Q are consecutive vertices. That is, they come one after the other. P and Q. They are consecutive vertices. When you join consecutive vertices, that line segment is called the side of the polygon. See, this is the side. Why is PQ the side of the polygon? Why do you call PQ the side of the polygon? Because it connects the vertices P and Q, which are the consecutive vertices of the polygon. Similarly, when you take up Q and R, why do we call QR? QR is a line segment. QR is a line segment. Why do we call this the side of the polygon? Because this line segment QR connects consecutive vertices Q and R. Q and R are consecutive vertices. They come one after the other. Consecutive meaning which come one after the other. Like 2 and 3 are consecutive natural numbers. 100 and 101 are consecutive natural numbers. 100 and 101. 500 and 502. How can you using the word consecutive? How can you explain 500 and 502? Using the word consecutive, express the numbers 500 and 502. You must use the word consecutive and express the numbers 500 and 502.
and 502 are two consecutive even numbers.
Yeah, perfect, Madhumita. So 500 and 502 are two consecutive even numbers. They are not consecutive natural numbers, or they are not consecutive whole numbers. They are not consecutive integers, but they are consecutive even numbers. 500 and 502 are two consecutive even, you can say, natural numbers or even numbers. Okay. So when we say side, the line segment that connects two, see the same thing, the line segment that connects two consecutive vertices. When it connects consecutive vertices, it's a side. When it connects to non-consecutive vertices, it becomes a diagonal. See here, P and Q, the line segment that connects P and Q side, the line segment that connects Q and R, QR side, RS is the side, because this line segment, it connects the two consecutive vertices R and S. So like that, diagonal is a line segment that connects two non-consecutive vertices. So after P is Q or after P is S. P and S are consecutive. P and Q are consecutive. P and R, they're not consecutive. They don't come one after the other. After P, you can say Q or S, but not R. So P and R are two non-consecutive vertices. When you connect them, it represents the diagonal of the polygon. So here it is, how many diagonals does a polygon have? So you can see in these figures, what's a special name you would give to this figure? A, B, C, D, E. And give a special name to the polygon A, B, C, D, E.
Pentagon ABCDE.
Pentagon. ABCDE is a pentagon because it's made up of 5 line segments. It's a pentagon, and there is some star-like shape formed in the middle. You don't look at that as a star. They have connected. They are the various line segments connecting. They are the various line segments connecting two non-consecutive vertices. So if you look at BE, when you take a BE, when you take a BE, so it connects, that is this line segment, BE connects B and E. B, after B, you can say C. B and A are consecutive, or B and C are consecutive, but B and E are two non-consecutive vertices. So the line segment that connects B and E is called the diagonal of this polygon. So they have connected what you see here: BE, CE, what is this? AD, BD. These are the line segments which you see in dotted lines represent the diagonals of the pentagon. Here also. This is the quadrilateral. The quadrilateral is ML, or I can say MNKL. Whatever, LMNK, however you wish to call it, LMNK or KLMN. So this is the quadrilateral. KLMN is the quadrilateral. See here, KL is one side, LM is the second side, MN is the third side, and KN is the fourth side. So KLMN is a quadrilateral. And see, they've connected the diagonals. K and M are not consecutive vertices, because you can say after K you can say L, or after K you can say N. K and L are consecutive, K and N are consecutive. So K and M are not consecutive. So the line segment that connects K and M represents the diagonal of the polygon. Similarly, you can see that this diagonal lies outside the polygon. You can see that the diagonal LN lies outside the polygon. This is the polygon. This one is the polygon. This is the polygon. It's like an arrowhead. It's like a head. The polygon is like an arrowhead, like this. It is a
exterior diagonal.
Okay, yes. So this diagonal lies outside the polygon. So that also can happen. In the case of convex polygons, we'll see those terms. That's why I'm not using those terms now, concave and convex polygons. So such polygons are concave polygons, where the diagonals can lie outside the polygon. LN is a line segment that connects two non-consecutive vertices. So it's a diagonal of this polygon. and it can lie outside the polygon also. The diagonal can lie outside the polygon. And so it's tedious, no, to always connect the diagonals and count the number of diagonals. So we have a formula. It's not always convenient to connect all the diagonals and check how many diagonals a polygon has. So we have a formula. So the number of diagonals in a polygon of n sides, the number of diagonals in a polygon of n sides is given by n into n minus 3 by 2. N into n minus 3 by 2, where n stands for the, or where n represents the number of sides of the polygon. N represents the number of sides of the polygon. So if the polygon has 5 sides, if the polygon has 5 sides, so 5 into 5 minus 3 by 2 will give you the answer. N should be replaced with the number of sides the polygon has. When you do that, you get the number of diagonals in the polygon. How many diagonals does a triangle have?
Ma'am.
Yes?
3, ma'am. 3.
3. How many diagonals does a triangle have?
0, ma'am. 0.
0. A triangle has no diagonals. A triangle has no diagonals.
Ma'am, but in the last, they have 3 diagonals now, ma'am.
No, this is not a triangle. This is quadrilateral.
Okay.
Quadrilateral. See here, KL. These are the sides. You can see there are 4 vertices, K, L, M, and N. You can see there are 4 vertices, K, L, M, and N. There are 4 vertices. If it has 4 vertices, it will have 4 sides also. If it has 4 vertices, it will also have 4 sides. It's a quadrilateral. This one is not a triangle, it's a quadrilateral. So you can draw a triangle in your book and try to connect 2 non-consecutive vertices. You will see that you will not find all the vertices are, if you take up the triangle ABC, A and B consecutive vertices, B and C consecutive, A and C consecutive. You will not find 2 non-consecutive vertices in a triangle. Hence, a triangle has no diagonals. It has sides, but no diagonals. And if you substitute here in this formula, 3 into 3 minus 3 by 2. 3 into 3 minus 3 by 2. So 3 minus 3 is 0. 0 into 3 is 0. 0 by 2 is 0. So a triangle has no diagonals. This is not a triangle, children. This one is a quadrilateral. You can see there are 4 points, K, L, M, and N. It's a quadrilateral. K and M are non-consecutive vertices. So when you join points K and M, it represents the diagonal of this quadrilateral. Similarly, L and N. L, M consecutive. L and N, they don't come one after the other in this polygon. After L is M, not the alphabetical order or something. In this order, it is K, go in the clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. K is followed by L, is followed by M, is followed by N, or K is followed by N, followed by M, followed by L. So K and N consecutive. See, how will you draw this figure like this? So K, N, M, L. Or like this, M, L, K, N. So to make out the consecutive vertices, go in a particular direction. Now, if you go like this, K followed by N, followed by M, followed by L. Now, what are concave and convex polygons? Concave and convex polygons. Now, if you see this polygon, now you don't consider the diagonals. Ignore KM and LN. Let me zoom this one into you. So this is the figure which you saw in the earlier slide. This figure, wherein this is the diagonal. AC is a diagonal and BD is a diagonal. When you connect AC and BD, they are the two diagonals of this quadrilateral. This is a quadrilateral because see here AB, BC, CD, DA, 4 sides. This is a quadrilateral. This is a quadrilateral because it's a polygon with 4 sides. If you want to show the diagonals, you must connect A and C, B and D. Now, when you look at the inside angles or the interior angles of this polygon, of this quadrilateral, this angle here is a angle. This angle here is a reflex angle. Reflex angle meaning the magnitude of this angle will be more than 180 degrees. So in a polygon, if at least one angle is a reflex angle, that is, it measures more than 180 degrees, but less than 360 degrees. In a polygon, if at least one angle measures more than 180 degrees, but less than 360 degrees, then the polygon is called a concave polygon. Concave polygon if one angle is a reflex angle. What is an acute angle?
Ma'am, once again will you repeat about convex and concave polygon, ma'am?
Yeah, sure. Now, yeah, I'll come back to that. I haven't finished. I'll come back to that. What is an acute angle?
Angles below 90 degree, ma'am.
Okay, so if the magnitude or if the measure of an angle is less than 90 degrees, it's called an acute angle. What is a right angle?
Ma'am, it's exactly 90 degrees, ma'am.
Okay, if the measure of an angle is equal to 90 degrees, it's called a right angle. Then what is an obtuse angle?
Angles which measure more than 90 degree, ma'am.
But less than?
But less than 90 degree. But less than 180 degree, ma'am.
Okay, if an angle measures more than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees.
It's obtuse angle, ma'am.
Yeah, it's called an obtuse angle. What's a reflex angle?
More than 180 degree, ma'am.
But less than?
More than 360, ma'am.
But less than 3. More than 180. So you just, these are the numbers 0, 90, 180, 360. 0 to 90, 180, 360. 0 to 90, acute. 90, right angle. 90 to 180, obtuse. 180, straight angle. 180 to 360, reflex angle. If it measures more than 180 but less than 360, it's a reflex angle. Exactly 360. If an angle measures 360 degrees, what is it called? What's an angle which measures 360 degrees called? Complete angle. Complete angle. We also have something called a zero angle. If the magnitude is 0, it's called a zero angle. So you can just write these numbers 0 in a line, you know, write these numbers 0, 90, 180, 360. 0, 90, 180, 360. Now start from 0 and tell me the definitions in order. What is 0 called? 0 degrees. Is a
0 angle.
0 angle. Next it is what? Next it is from 0 to
It's
0 to
90
90.
degree.
It's acute angle, ma'am.
Acute angle. Next
Acute
what?
angle.
180
what?
is called
90 degree right angle.
90, exactly 90. See, 0 to 9. First you should say 0 angle. Then 0 to 90 is
acute angle.
Acute angle.
acute angle. Then exactly 90.
Right
Right
angle.
angle.
90 to 180.
Obtuse angle.
Obtuse angle.
Exactly 180.
Straight angle.
Straight angle.
180 to 360.
Complete angle.
180 to 360.
Complete angle.
Then what is 360?
Ma'am, no, ma'am, it's not complete angle. 360 degree, full 360 is only complete angle, ma'am.
Yeah, 360 degrees is called a complete angle. What when an angle measures between 180 and 360, what do you call it?
Obtuse angle.
Obtuse angle.
180. That is 90 to 180.
Reflex angle, ma'am.
Reflex angle, ma'am.
Reflex angle. Yes. Reflex angle. I think Sanjay or Sindhu, one of them mentioned it. Yes. Reflex angle. Reflex angle is an angle that measures more than 180 degrees but less than 360 degrees. More than 180, less than 360 is a reflex angle. Reflex.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So if you see in this figure, this one is a quadrilateral. A, B, C, D is a quadrilateral. In this quadrilateral, this is an interior angle. This one angle A is an interior angle. B is an interior angle. Then this one D is an interior angle. All these angles you can make out from the mouth of the angle, from how wide the mouth is, you can make out that they are all acute angles. But this one, just see here, this one, this is a straight line. Straight line. See, I'm telling you something. This is the straight line like this. So from here to here, it will be 180, but this is a little more. So this is a reflex angle. How do we know it's a reflex angle? Just see now, this is DC. Just produce DC like that. Produce DC. Produce DC. When you produce DC like this, you can make out that from here to here is 180. And this is still a little more. So this one is a reflex angle. Or if you produce BC, you produce BC, 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 just pull it like this, pull it like this, pull it like this, pull BC like this. So what happens from here? It's a straight line, no? So straight angle lies on a straight line. Straight angle lies on a straight line. So from here to here will be 180 degrees, but this is a little more. So it's more than 180. So if at least one angle in a polygon, if at least one angle is a reflex angle, that is more than 180 degrees, but less than 360 degrees, then that polygon is called a concave polygon. Now, how to remember this? So it will always have an opening like this, like a cave has an opening, right? A cave, C-A-V, cave has an opening. You can see the mouth of the cave. If you have to enter the cave, then there's the mouth of the cave first. You need to enter the cave through the mouth of the cave. So like that, see it when it's a concave polygon, you can see the mouth like this. You can see the mouth opening like this. See here, this is the cave. Just take it like that. This is the cave of the polygon. This one, see, it's like a mouth. It's opening. So if the polygon has a mouth opening like this, you know, this is a mouth. Now just imagine you're like coming like this. You're entering the cave because it's open here. It's open here. Don't get confused. This is just for us to remember. Now, I'm not saying there's an open curve. I'm not saying there's an open curve. I'm just saying this looks like as if the mouth is open. Just imagine this to be a crocodile, then this is like as if it's kept its mouth open. So when you see something like a cave here, you know, this is the mouth of the cave. This is the mouth of the cave. So when the figure looks like this, it's a concave polygon. See here also in this one. This is a quadrilateral, children. See, it's a polygon. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. It's a quadrilateral. If the polygon has 4 sides, whether it is a concave, whether it is concave or convex, it is a quadrilateral. When a polygon has 4 sides, it's a quadrilateral. It may be concave or convex. We haven't learned convex, I'll tell you. So now this one is a concave polygon. Now tell me, give a special name to this polygon, to this one. Is it a triangle? Is it a quadrilateral? When I say a special name, that's what I mean. Give a special.
Quadrilateral, ma'am.
Hexagon, ma'am. Hexagon, okay. Hexagon. Any other different answer? All of you count the number of line segments it has. All of you count.
4, ma'am.
6, ma'am. 6, ma'am.
Okay, so there are some who say 6. So if you have said 4, just count and see if it is 4 or 6. And those who said 6, please check if it is 4 or 6. Is it 4 or 6? Line segments. Yes, now tell me, 4 or 6?
6 only, ma'am.
6. Yes. This polygon has 6 sides. See here, from here to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now we write this capital letter M, right? M is not a polygon, but how many line segments M has? M.
Four, ma'am.
This letter M in the English alphabet, when you write the capital letter M, how many line segments it has? Capital letter M.
4, ma'am.
Kitna, 4 or no? M.
Ma'am, your screen is not clear. It's there, I mean.
Is it for everyone? Anyone?
Ma'am, 4 only, ma'am.
No. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, visible, ma'am.
Ma'am, it's in the same convex polygon screen, ma'am.
Yeah, if in case children have trouble in seeing the screen clearly, please leave the meeting and join again. The lobby is.
Yes, ma'am. Concave and convex polygon.
No, the discussion is not that. The discussion is how many line segments does the letter M have?
Ma'am, it has 4 line segments, ma'am.
Yeah, the letter M, capital letter M has 4 line segments. So can you see an M here? Can you see the M-like thing here? So there's already 4 there. This is 5 and this is 6. Can you see that M? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is that M. This is the M. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 5 and this is 6. 5, 6, 5, 6. So this figure has 6 line segments. This figure has 6 line segments. It's a polygon with 6 line segments. So this is a somebody told me the correct term earlier. What is a special name to this polygon?
Hexagon.
Hexagon. This one is a hexagon. Hexagon. And here also you can see this interior angle here. This one is an interior angle. This interior angle measures more than 180 degrees. This angle. Can you see the mouth like opening here? Can you see a cave like thing here? See like this. See?
Yes, ma'am. Above that we have to do it, ma'am. It's above 180.
This one. It's like an opening. See here? So it's a concave polygon. Concave polygon. This one is a concave polygon. By definition, because one of the interior angles here measures more than 180 degrees. So concave polygons are these. Convex polygons. If every interior angle measures less than 180 degrees. In a polygon, if every interior angle measures less than 180 degrees, it's called a convex polygon. So all these which you see here are convex polygons. Here, these are convex polygons. These are convex because you don't see that cave anywhere here. This one is a concave. This is a concave. This one is the opening. This is the diagonal. This is the diagonal. Leave the diagonal. This one is open here. It's open. There's a mouth like opening here, like a cave. So this is a concave quadrilateral. This is a convex quadrilateral. This is a convex, 4 sides, so quadrilateral, and it's convex because every interior angle measures less than 180 degrees. Convex will not have that cave-like opening. You can see here, like this kind of an opening. See here, like this. This happens only in concave. This happens only in concave, this kind of a thing. A convex looks like this. In a convex polygon, each interior angle is less than 180 degrees. In a concave polygon, there will be at least one angle which measures more than 180 degrees. So here convex less than 180, concave more than 180. In convex, every angle will be less than 180. Every angle will be less than 180 in a convex polygon. In a concave polygon, at least one should be more than 180. If in a polygon at least one angle measures more than 180, it's a concave polygon. All of them need not measure more than 180. In a polygon, if at least one angle. So here the others are acute. This is acute, this is acute, this is acute. Only this one is a reflex angle. So at least one is a reflex angle, is more than 180. So this is a concave polygon. Look a picture, children. Now tell me, what is a concave polygon? What is a concave polygon?
In an angle, one angle at least more than 180 degree, ma'am.
Very good. In a polygon, very good. In a polygon, if at least one angle, if at least one angle measures more than 180, that is, it's a reflex angle. At least one angle is a reflex angle. Then it is a concave polygon. What's a convex polygon?
The polygon, each angle is less than 180, ma'am.
Very good. If each angle, every other angle should be less than 180. If there are 10 angles, all the 10 angles must be less than 180. Then it is a convex polygon. All right. So the keywords are only these. At least one angle more than 180. All angles less than 180. These are the phrases. You should just, you don't have to remember the whole thing. The key phrases. At least one angle more than 180 degrees. At least one angle more than 180 degrees. Concave. Every other angle is less than 180. That means all the angles in the polygon measures less than 180. So that is a convex polygon. Convex, concave. Convex, all measure less than 180. Concave, at least one measures more than 180. See here in all these concave polygons, children, you can make out easily. See that opening. I don't know if you're following that. If you acknowledge, I'll be happy. I'm saying concave has this word cave in it. No, cave. Just by looking at the polygon, you can say, see here, there's some kind of cave-like opening. I'm saying like this, like the mouth of a cave. There's an opening here. So here also, like this. There's an opening here. As if the mouth of a crocodile is open. See here also. There's an opening here. Here also, see it? It's as if the mouth of some animal or something is open. Here also. So when on the face of it, when you just look at it, you can say whether it is convex or concave. So these are these are concave polygons. These are concave polygons. These are concave polygons. And these are convex polygons. Now regular and irregular polygons. We understood what is meant by a polygon. Then we saw concave and convex polygons. Concave and convex polygons. Now here regular polygon, irregular polygon. Now let's consider an equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle. In a children, when I'm saying something, just follow, meaning try to understand what I am saying. Don't read the contents on the screen. I'm saying consider an equilateral triangle. So we know that in an equilateral triangle, all the sides are equal. Maybe all of them are equal to say 10 centimeters, and all the angles are equal. Always 60 degrees. Each angle is always 60 degrees. The triangle may be very big or very small. You draw a very big equilateral triangle, a big one. Maybe the sides are like 25 centimeters. Each side measures 25 centimeters. So you have an equilateral triangle ABC. You have an equilateral triangle ABC in which each side measures 25 centimeters, big one. Use a protractor and measure the angles. Each of them will be 60 degrees. Each angle will be equal to 60 degrees. You draw a very small equilateral triangle. Draw a very small one. Maybe each side equal to 3 centimeters. Each side equal to 3 centimeters. A small one. 3, 3, 3. There also each angle will measure 60 degrees. So whether the equilateral triangle is big or small, each side may be 25 centimeters or each side may be 3 centimeters. You may have a small one or a big one. In both the triangles, when you measure the angles using a protractor, you will see that the angles are 60 degrees in both the triangles, all the angles. In the small triangle, each angle measures 60 degrees. In the big triangle also, each angle measures 60 degrees. Just because it's a big triangle doesn't mean that the angles are going to be very large. Now, do you all agree that an equilateral triangle is a triangle in which all the sides are equal and each angle is equal to 60 degrees, correct? Am I right? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So did I make a correct statement? An equilateral triangle is one in which all the sides are equal and each angle measures, that is, all the angles are equal. Each angle equal to 60 degrees. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in a polygon, when all the sides are equal and all the angles are equal, see, sides and angles will not have the same value. Sides in an equilateral triangle, each side is 25 centimeters or 3 centimeters. Angles will not be 25 degrees. So sides are equal and angles are equal. Each angle will be equal to 60 degrees. So a polygon in which all sides are equal and all angles are equal is called a regular polygon. So an equilateral triangle is a regular polygon. An equilateral triangle is a regular polygon. Because in an equilateral triangle, all the sides are equal and all the angles are also equal. Each one is equal to 60 degrees. Now consider a square. In a square, all sides are equal. In a square, each angle is equal to 90 degrees. So all sides equal, all angles equal. A square is a regular polygon. A square is a regular polygon. So a polygon in which all the sides and angles are equal is called a regular polygon. Is a rectangle a regular polygon?
No, ma'am.
Why?
Because its side and angles are not equal, ma'am.
No, sides are equal.
No, ma'am, only opposite sides are equal.
Only opposite sides are equal. Because sides are equal, but only opposite sides are equal. All sides are not equal. But all the angles are equal. That is not sufficient. Both the condition must be true. All angles must be equal. All sides also must be equal. So in a rectangle, all angles are equal. But only when it comes to angles, all the angles are equal. But when it comes to sides, all the sides are not equal. Only opposite sides are equal. So a rectangle is a quadrilateral. It's a quadrilateral. It's a polygon, but it's not a regular polygon. It's not a regular polygon. So it's an irregular polygon. It's an irregular polygon. So that's what you see on the slide here. See, this is an equilateral triangle. The first one here is an equilateral triangle. The first one here, it's a regular polygon. This one is a square. This one is a square, also a regular polygon. This one is a right triangle. It's a right triangle. All angles are not equal because in a right triangle, this angle is 90. The remaining two angles will be different. All the angles cannot be 90. So this is not a regular polygon. It's an irregular polygon. Rectangle is also an irregular polygon because all sides are not equal. All angles are equal, but all sides are not equal. I'll give you 3 minutes time. Read all this for yourself. You see a rhombus here. A rhombus is a polygon in which all sides are equal, but all the angles are not equal. Only opposite angles will be equal in a rhombus. So we'll understand the properties of special quadrilaterals in the next chapter. So when it's marked like this, that means the angles are equal. So see here, when it's marked like this, it means all the 5 angles are equal. All the 5 angles are equal. And these small line segments, they indicate that the sides are equal. When all the sides are marked like this, that means the sides are equal. And every angle is marked like this. So that means that indicates all the angles are equal. So this is a regular polygon. Here also you see it's marked. Double curves are used. There's a curve here, there's a double curve here, there's a double curve here, 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 and here. This indicates all the angles are equal. All angles are equal. And all the sides are also equal. You can see the indication here. All the sides are equal. So since in these two figures, all the angles and sides are equal, both of them are regular polygons. But here they are irregular polygons. They are not regular because only these two sides are equal. All the sides are not equal. Here also, all sides are not equal. These two sides are equal. Can you see the double line segments here? Opposite side, these two sides are equal. That's what is indicated here. These two sides are equal and all these 4 sides are equal. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides are equal. These 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 sides are equal. 2 sides here and 2 sides here. These 4 sides are equal. These two opposite sides are equal, but all the sides are not equal. Again, you can see these angles 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 angles are equal. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 angles have the same measure. These two opposite angles, this one and this one, these two opposite angles also have the same but different from this. So you see that in this polygon, all the sides are not equal. 4 sides equal, then the remaining 2 sides equal. So all sides and all angles are not equal. So this is not a regular polygon. Now, in the first figure, you see a triangle in which the sides are produced. You see a triangle in which the sides are produced. The side is produced. This side, the 3 sides are produced, and this side is also produced. There's a triangle. It's a triangle, and the 3 sides are produced. See, this side is produced. This side is also produced like this. And this side is produced. Only when you produce the sides of a polygon, you can make out the exterior angle. You can make out the exterior angle of a polygon when you produce the side. We cannot completely discuss about interior and exterior angles today because it's time. I'll just give me 2 more minutes. I'll wind up the session. Interior angles we can always see. See, all that which is marked here are interior angles. These angles which are marked here are angles inside the polygon. These angles that are marked here, these angles are inside the polygon. So they are interior angles. These angles lie inside the polygon. So these 6 angles here, these 5 angles here are interior angles. All these angles also, they're the interior angles of this polygon because they lie inside the polygon. Exterior angles are formed, or you can see the exterior angles only when you produce the sides. If a polygon has 6 sides, all the 6 sides must be produced. Only when you produce the 6 sides. So here you can see it's a pentagon. This one is a pentagon. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a pentagon. A, B, C, D, E. If it has 5 vertices, it has 5 sides also. A, B, C, D, E. 5 vertices, so 5 sides. A, B, C, D, E. 5 vertices, so 5 sides. Now see, the sides are produced. When AB is produced like this, you can see the exterior angle 1. BC is produced. See, AB is produced, and you can see the exterior angle 1. When BC is produced, you can see the exterior angle 2. When CD produced, you can see the angle 3, exterior angle 3. DE is produced like this, exterior angle 4, and EA, when it's produced, you see the exterior angle 5. So when the sides of a polygon, are produced, exterior angles are formed. Interior angles are already formed. When a polygon is formed, interior angles are already formed. When a polygon is formed, interior angles are already there. All the angles that lie inside the polygon. Exterior angles are not always visible. You must produce the sides. Only when you produce the sides, you can make out or mark the exterior angle. If you want to mark the exterior angle, then you need to produce the side. So as the name indicates, and as you can see, exterior angles lie outside the polygon. They lie outside the polygon. Exterior angles lie outside the polygon. Interior angles lie inside the polygon. When you produce the sides of a polygon, exterior angles are formed. So if it is a pentagon is a polygon with 5 sides. So it will have 5 vertices. It has 5 sides, 5 vertices, 5 interior angles, and 5 exterior angles. The number of angles and the number of sides in a polygon will be the same. If a polygon has 3 sides, it will have 3 interior angles and 3 exterior angles. If a polygon has 10 sides, if it's a decagon, we know a decagon, or it is a decagon because it has 10 sides. So that means it has 10 interior angles and 10 exterior angles. In any polygon, the number of sides and the number of angles will be the same. 7 sides, if the polygon has 7 sides, it has 7 interior angles and 7 exterior angles. Interior angles are always visible. Exterior angles, you can make them visible by producing the sides. If you don't produce the sides, you cannot see the exterior angles. So this is about interior and exterior angles, children. We'll continue our discussion in the next session on Saturday morning. So that's it for today's session, children. Thank you so much. If you have any doubts to be clarified, please stay back, else you may leave the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, children.
Thank you,
Thank you, children.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, children. Thank you.